Welcome to the Furloughed Arms, where I put questions to Tommy Cannon. A question from Last Rights on Twitter. Buying Rochdale Football Club, how do you feel, what did you bring to the club, and how do you feel about, partnering in the club?
Good question. I think the thing was, I don't know whether I would have ever gone to Rochdale Football Club, but my daughter was going out with one of the football players. And so she said, why don't you come and see a game and all that? And I went, and suddenly, before I knew where I was on the board of directors, and having I worked there all the time, obviously, because Bobby and I were really busy in them days, and I would go every now and again, and I suppose at the end of the day, I wanted to. I wanted to try to help them to get out of the 4th division, as it was in them days, and that didn't work. But I mean, I think I got so many good laughs out of being on the board. When we had board meetings, there was things happening that like the minutes of the last meeting is read out, and it said that. We forgot to pay Joyce for bringing in the milk, and it was that sort of thing. And they were good lads that were on the board, but it just didn't pan out. I wasn't there often enough. I'd be away. I could have been. Actually, I think probably a lot of the time I was in the Middle East, in Doha, and all those places working with Bob, and. So I didn't really get over involved. It was only when I came home. And then I think a rumour went around saying that the reason that I want to buy the club is so that I can close it down and put a housing estate on the pitch, which was total lies. But yes, I mean, that was quite enjoyable and quite funny, to be honest. I don't know. I watch sometimes today, and sometimes I get a bit bored with this crossing across the pitch as opposed to going towards the opponent's goal. It's pass across, give it back to the goalie, do it again, bring it out, goalie kicks it or he throws it to a player. And I know it's a different game now because I used to love playing soccer, and when I played soccer. I was a right winger, and them days there was a centre forward, an inside right, a right winger, inside left, and a left winger. Now, all that's gone. I don't know. It's just a different game now, and I think some games are still quite exciting. But there's other games, and I think, oh, come on, move it, go towards the opponent's goals, and it's just one of them things. That's all, I suppose. Football does change like everything else. Oh, yes, of course we would, yeah. Bobby and I were nearly 60 years together, so yeah. Of course, we'd still be working, and I'm still working. I'm doing a panto at the moment up in County Durham, yes, at the beginning I was lost. Bobby wasn't with me. It was a really sort of empty feeling. And I sang the song that Bobby and I opened our TV shows with, which was Laugh Me a Laugh. And I got quite emotional with it. But I'm slowly but surely getting used to it. And I know Bob's looking down on me and saying, come on, you soft devil, get on with it. So yeah, it was. So yeah, I'm still carrying on the tradition, yeah. God, blimey. There were lots. I mean, Little Richard was one of Bobby's favourites. Frankie Lane was one of my favourites because even before I went into show business, when I lived on an estate, Strinesdale Estate, and there was a sanatorium right on the back end of the estate. Yeah, and I used to walk over there, and I never even knew I could sing, to be honest. And I used to sing all Frankie Lane's songs because it echoed back, and I used to think, "Oh boy, I'm brilliant at this." But no, yeah, that's there was so many. You know, Cliff Richard was another one. He was all our guests on the shows that we did they were all lovely. They were great.
Gary Ormiston asked a question. What comedian, Tommy, would you like to do something with in the future? Is there one you could pin it down to? Let us know.
I don't know, to be honest. I quite like Michael McIntyre. He's very funny.
Peter Kay, what a legend. Very much like yourself, mate. What's your views on him? Do you like him? Because I'm sure you know him.
So, Peter's, what's the name? He's tremendous. He's a lot younger than me, and also, but he's like all variety, and that's what Bob and I loved. We loved the old style comedians, if you like. Not saying that the comedians of today are bad. I'm not saying that at all. But things have changed, you know. Bob and I were in America, and we suddenly saw this comedian come on in jeans and trainers and a t-shirt, and we thought, wow, what's this? This is different than I've seen a comedian. You know, normally you've got a nice suit on or something, and then we watched it for a few nights, different people coming on, and suddenly Bob and I said, you know what, this will be in England in another 10 years from now, and it was. It's what's the name? It's very good. So most of it's pretty good, but like anything, there's always things that aren't so good, like even in our business. And Peter Kay he used to come and see us, Peter. Obviously not make it known because he'd have been mobbed, but he used to come in sort of when the show had started and just sit down at the back of the room, and then he would come backstage after and just say, "That were great, lads. See you soon," and he'd gone, you know. But yeah, a lovely lad, Peter. Lovely. Well, to be honest with you, I wouldn't know. I'm hoping that I can go and see his show when he comes to Leeds. He's touring again next year, first time in 12 years that he's touring again, and I'm so pleased for him. And I'm hoping that I can get in touch with him and go and see the show because Bob and I used to love him. Well, still do.
This is a question from Simon Taylor, actually, Tommy. Where did you and Bobby meet? And did you always know? Was you always aware that your chemistry would be infectious?
Well, first and foremost, I met Bobby in a welding factory, and I got a job there as a welder, and I couldn't weld because I had a relative that worked there, and he got me the job. And the first person to speak to me out of over 500 men on the shop floor was Bob. Came in, clocked in, he said, "All right, cop," walked away. And as he walked away, I looked it down, and I said, "Oh, I'm blind, that's a funny looking fella." And off he went. And I didn't know how long it was, a good few months, when suddenly, and don't ask me why, he suddenly said, "Do you want to make a double act?" And I said, "A double act? What are you talking about?" He said, "Me and you." He said, "We do a double act." I said, "Well, I don't understand why you're asking me that." I said, "I've never even had the slightest inclination about show business or going into show business." He said, "Oh, well, okay," and, went on, and And then he was doing a gig in, I think it was Rotten Oddfellows or something like that. And he said, all the lads are coming down on Friday. You want to come down and have a pint? So I said, yeah, I'll come down. I went down and saw him sing, and he was okay. And then it carried on again. Well, you've been to see me now, so what do you think? You fancy it? And I said, Bob, listen, mate, I love you to bits, but no, that is it. So then he came again, I don't know, a month, and he said, hey, I tell you what, get yourself a set of drums, he said, and I'll teach you a few riffs. So following day I went in, I said, look, I've got a set of drums. He said, oh, fire. He said, you're keen, aren't you? I said, well, you told me to get a set of drums. And that was the beginning. Simple as that. And I think sometimes in life, things are meant to be. And as many times as I said, no, I don't want to do it, I ended up with him, and well, the rest is history.
A question from Sarah Joy Harmon. There was quite a proportion of African American people on your shows back in the day. Is that something that you were involved in? Did you get to pick them, or was it out of your hands? Was it the production team?
Them sort of things were never left to us. It was always the producers, directors. Head of Light Entertainment was a man called David Bell. Who was a lovely man. He's passed away now, bless him. But he was a lovely man, and it was all down to them. We didn't even ask for, certain people to come on the show. The show and everybody who came on it was presented to us week by week.
A question from William English on Twitter. What was your favourite sort of moment with Bobby? If you have one, I'm sure there's many. Can you pin it down to one? William wants to know that.
Oh, there were millions. I'm terrible as I suppose, a straight man is supposed to keep straight. And there were lots of times when I only had to look at Bob and I'd break down laughing. But one of the funniest things was the sketch that we did with Jimmy Tarbuck. And if you said to me now, why were you laughing? I have no idea. But it was a sketch. He came into the area where we were and just, he was supposed to deliver a line, and he delivered the wrong line. And he had to go out and come back in. And when he came back in, he had this sort of half a smile on his face. And he came back in again, and don't ask me, I started to giggle. And I don't know why. I've never found out. And when I see Jimmy, it's a good that this question is going, because I will ask him. And I started to laugh, and I laughed from start of the sketch to the very end. And I thought for sure the producer would say cut and we'll start again, but he didn't. He left it in, and that's one of the clips that I show when I'm doing an evening with Tommy Cannon, and I show that clip, and even when I watch it, I laugh again. So it's just one of those things that got to me, and it lives in my memory forever.
Hey Tom, how are you?
Hello Jim, nice to see you.
Hello, Word Perfect, how are you?
The greens are well bunkered.
Well, that's very good. What are you playing off now? you are still playing it?
Yes,
what are you playing off?
I'm playing off it. He's my straight man.
No.
Yeah, I am. I'm playing off 18.
Lovely. Well, I'm off 12.
Aye?
I'm off 12.
Fine.
Well, here, listen, I tell you should cheer up. What is it with you?
I thought you played off 6, Jim. That's why I'm laughing.
Oh, that's why you're laughing?
Yeah.
I thought you had a feather up your...
Questions I wanted to ask you, and it's about your favourite beverage, actually. Your favourite beer, or are you a lager man, Tommy? I'm quite enthusiastic about real ale, as you can probably see. So It would be interesting to know if you are, or your favourite drink anyway.
Yeah, I like an odd pint of beer. Not that often, but now and again, yeah. In the heart of summer, if I've had a round of golf or whatever, I'll probably go into the golf club and just say, I'll have a pint of lager, or I do like a pint of Guinness. Like Guinness, yeah.
And also, is there a favourite pub that you used to gravitate towards back in the day, or even now? So that'd be interesting to me. And as I progress through the pubs, because I tend to spend a fair bit of time in them, I'll be saying, that's Tommy Cannon's drink. Did you know that? So yeah, all the best.
Oh, I never. No, a lot of my mates have favourite pubs, but no. I suppose because Bob and I were together very early in our ages, if you like, getting together as a double act. So, because we travelled up and down the country, from John O'Groats to Land's End, I mean, no, I never really had a favourite pub. It was in pubs first, and then the odd working men's club. Excuse me. Yeah, and we did working men's clubs for quite a while. We were 15 years going round, not theatres so much as nightclubs and stuff. And we were 15 years doing that. And when we got onto TV, the press said overnight sensations. But they didn't realise we'd been 15 years going round.
So join us next week. Yeah, back in the Furloughed. Another special guest will be asking all the questions that you want to ask them, and I'll be here.